Hey everybody, it's Boardman21, and today's build is yet again another Necromancer build. Now I know I keep saying we're done with the Necromancer, but then every time I try to walk away from it, something happens that makes it even more OP than the previous time that I was pushing it, and this time 6-string Samurai came in to save the day and showed me how with Bone Curse you can put a curse on minions and have them cast Rip Blood automatically for you, which meant that I was no longer going to have to chase my minions around and push A and put them in one spot and cast Rip Blood on them, because now I could have Bone Curse automatically do that. So what that meant was I could spam something else, and what better to spam than the Wraiths themselves so that you could get more of them. So from that we just decided to stack more cast speed, and well, we ended up with 250 plus minions, and at times we had almost 1 million ward. We got a screenshot of over 900k, and things got a little ridiculous on our way back to the #1 spot on the ladder. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. For skills, we have Summon Bone Golem, Transplant, Bone Curse, Rip Blood, and Summon Wraith. For the Summon Bone Golem, we just have him as a tanky afterthought. Really, he doesn't do anything for us in this build than look pretty and big and run around and do random haymakers. So we have 5 points in Amalgam of Sentinels, 4 points in Tower of Bones, 1 point in Unnatural Speed, 2 points in Amalgam of Primalists, 3 points in Amalgam of Mages, and 5 points in Bone Growth. You can literally do whatever you want with him. If you want, you can change him out with the Skeleton Mages, the Skeleton Warriors, Rogues, Death Knights. It really doesn't matter. He's just a 5th skill that you can choose anything that you want. We have Transplant. For Transplant, we have 1 point in Acolyte's Fervor, 1 point in Sticky Blood, 3 points in Siphon, 3 points in Dance of Blood, 2 points in Sadism, 3 points in Pale Blood, 3 points in Last Laugh, 1 point in Simulacrum, 1 point in Purgatory, and 2 points in Ivory Court. Again, another skill that you don't need or have to have, but having a movement skill always helps every once in a while, and if for some reason you are out of mana or fighting mana, which can be a little bit tricky with this build, you can always put this on auto cast and just get back that 30 mana every time that it comes off cooldown. For Bone Curse, this one you have to build pretty specific to the way that we have it. So one, you need to turn it into an aura. So we put 3 points in Crippling English and 1 point in Signet of Agony. This is going to make it an aura, and that's what you're going to be seeing hitting all the minions. And it will put Bone Curse on them, thanks to 2 points in Cultist Fervor and 1 point in Merciless. We can now cast it on minions. So we have an aura, and we're going to hit all of our minions with it, giving them 8 seconds of the Bone Curse. Now, with 3 points in Swift Release, that Bone Curse duration is decreased by -90%, which means it only lasts for about 1 second now. So every time that they leave the aura for 1 second, it automatically ends the curse that's on them. Why is that good? Well, with 2 points in Iron Maiden, 1 point in Defile Defenses, 3 points in Cloven Flesh, and then this 1 point in Crimson Enlightenment, Rip Blood will now automatically cast at the end of the Bone Curse. So that means that you walk into your minions with the aura, it automatically curses all of them, you walk out of it, and then they automatically all cast Rip Blood. This is really good when you have 200 plus minions, because Rip Blood's going to give us ward based off of our int. So if you think about that, that means that you're automatically going to get ward, and your Rip Blood's automatically going to get cast, which means you're automatically going to get mana back as well. And then for the last points, we have 3 points in Brittle Bones, so if we run into any enemies with less than 18% health, they'll automatically be slain. For Rip Blood, this is the usual setup so that you get ward and mana back. We have 2 points in Arcane Absorption, 1 point in Rip Spirit, 1 point in Arcane Fortress, 5 points in Hemomancer, 6 points in Quenching, 1 point in Hematology, 1 point in Marrow Drinker, and 3 points in Mana Feast. And then for the Summon Raise, this is going to be built differently than we normally have it. So normally the way this skill works is you go up top and then you put into the Summoning Raise and give it a cooldown, but an increased mana cost, so where you'll just summon them and then it has a 6-second cooldown and you'll get all your raise, and then you'll put a bunch of points into getting more of them along with getting the cooldown recovery speed. And what you end up with is you usually get about 6 of them every 4.4 seconds. Well, If you have cast speed and you already have something else that's replenishing your mana without you having to cast anything, it means that there's no need for this, because now instead of just casting it once every 6 seconds, you can just spam it as much as you want. So the way we have this set up is 1 point in Locus of Resurrection, so that the Raz will be summoned where we choose, wherever we point our mouse. 1 point in Locus of Death, so after we do that, they won't move. The nice thing about this is you basically can build a wall of them around you, and there's nothing that anything can do about it, because they're not allowed to move, so until they die, nothing is going to get through. Everything's going to attack from the outside, and you're basically protected from the middle. This also gives them 100% more damage. That's multiplicative damage, which means their poison damage goes through the roof, and they'll now kill things twice as fast as they were before. Not to mention that you're going to have hundreds of these, so the poison damage is absolutely just ridiculous. Then we have 5 points in Haunting, so that they have 100% more multiplicative health. 1 point in Spirit Blood, so that when they're cast, and these Wraiths of course are always dying, so every time they're dying, you're resummoning, they'll have 30% more multiplicative damage and 50% more multiplicative health. We have 2 points in Grave Reality for another 80% multiplicative health. Yes, they have a lot of health. And then we have 4 points in Delay the End to slow down the health decay, 1 point in Spirit Link for some more critical strike chance. That's not the important thing. The most important thing is the 4 points that you put in Wraith Bringer. And this gives you 40% more cast speed and 40% more mana efficiency. Now what this does for you with just these skills is the fact that I can start summoning them, and they cost 20 mana each, but I can look how fast I can summon them. I mean, you can just summon them. Now once you put on your Bone Curse aura and you run around, you can see that the moment that they're out of the aura for 1 second, they replenish your mana. So you can literally just sit here and spam them, make sure you get out of the circle, your mana's full, and if you have a nice little circle, it means that you can just keep kind of making a circle motion. Your mana will be refilled all the time. You get ward for every one of them that's cast, and you can just sit here and spam more and more and more of them way faster than you ever could before. And as you can see, they just keep going up. And the thing that's going to make them last the longest is giving them more health, more regen, or giving yourself faster cast speed, which in this build we basically almost maxed out the cast speed that you could get. But as you can see, we're just getting a shit ton. We're already at 130, just like that. You can cast them so much faster than before. My record is 268 of them when we were in combat in the arena. Alright, let's go ahead and get into the passives. For the passives, we have 30 points in the base Acolyte class with 1 point in Blood Aura, 5 points in Blood Pact, 3 points in Stolen Vitality, 1 point in Crimson Gluttony, 5 points in Dark Rituals, 8 points in Forbidden Knowledge, 1 point in Putrid Demise, 1 point in Soul Aegis, and 6 points in Dominion of Rot. We have 19 points in the Lich, with 8 points in Crippling Insight, 3 points in Wraithbringer, and 8 points in Desolation. For the Necromancer, our master class, we have 65 points, with 5 points in Gravethorns, 8 points in Risen Army, 5 points in Reclamation of Souls, 8 points in Blood Armor, 10 points in Mortal Tether, 1 point in Unbound Necromancy, 3 points in Putrid Retribution, 5 points in Frantic Summons, 5 points in River of Bones, 10 points in Heresy, 3 points in Tyrant, 2 points in Tyrant's Legion, and that'll sum it up. For items, we have our Putrid Wraith still. You want to use range, so you have to go Putrid or you have to go Flame. Since they're stuck in one spot, you don't want to use the normal melee minions. That will do you no good. They'll just sit there and not do anything. They'll still take hits, so the reflect is still pretty good, but that's about it. We have 2 of those, and then we also have these increased cooldown recovery with Transplant, because we were using Transplant in our build. For the weapon, you just want to have cast speed and you want to have mana on it. Everything else is just extra. Again, you want the minage reflected to attackers on the chest, you want it on the helm, you want a amulet of of brass so that you have the cast speed implicit on that. You want to have yourself a good old catalyst, and you want to make sure you have mana and cast speed on that. And then you want to have the noble glove so that you have the implicit of cast speed on that, along with a prefix of cast speed. With all of that cast speed, you're going to do great. Everything else was just extra mana. We went with the chest piece that had mana, we went with the belt that had mana. The more mana you have, the easier it is to get off the, started right off the bat. And if you get like a bunch of minions dying all of a sudden, you'll have that mana for reserve, so you can get, 10 or 15 of them back up and start getting mana real quickly back off. Then we also have the silver rings, and basically you're just putting minion dodge, minion health, and minion health regen on everything that you can. With the boots, we have some move speed and more mana on both the relic. I think we put mana on the amulet as well. Basically mana everywhere that you can get it to. And that sums it all up. The one thing that I will say to be careful with is when you sit here and you do get them going and you get a whole bunch, when you portal to the next map, you have to be really careful, because what can happen is it lags really bad. They all get stuck in one spot, and when that happens, you end up getting so many of these orbs all at one time, and I'll show you what's going to happen here. Let's get about 150 of them, and I'll show you exactly what happens with this lag. And you want to be very careful. Every 15 waves you can go into the next arena. If your computer can't handle it, or if you have like 150 plus rays at one time when you do it, there's a good chance that you might crash the game and end your run. But just for an example, we have 112 right here. I'll go in the portal, and they all go in one spot, and then the moment that you move, they instantly all cast the orb right to you. And as soon as that happens, right here, you can see massive lag. It's shooting all of them. You skyrocket up. We had almost 200,000 ward. And if you have, like we had, almost 300 minions total, you can hit 900k ward in an instant. Also, whenever you do toggle off the bone curse, if, for instance, they're all hit and I toggle it off, the moment that I toggle it off, they all shoot it to me. So if you're in like a danger spot and you need to like make sure that you get some, make sure that you just end the curse, and then boom, you can get it instantly. With that, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys some gameplay.